All right, first and foremost, thanks for everyone taking time to join today. Community meetings are important for everybody. Gives us an opportunity to kind of see what the forethought is in everyone's mind. We are going to conduct the meeting a bit differently this time, um, and hopefully this will be the format going forward. We understand that your time is vital. Most of you want to be able to, do IRL things. You want to be able to go play in the city or whatever the case may be. So we've heard this for several meetings at this point, and that's just trying to shorten the length of the meetings. So we want to respect everyone's time. So without any further ado, I first just want to open it up to the staff team to see if there's anything near and dear to your heart that you want to get out on the table, or if there's anything that needs to be said.
Yeah. Did you mention holding requests, concerns, comments, questions till the end?
Yeah, thank you for that.
Okay.
So as Lit said, just make sure that if you have a question or whatnot, keep it in the back of your mind, keep it on a notepad. At the end, we'll give folks an opportunity to ask questions, uh, address any concerns, etc. We've already gone through the topics. That's kind of the beauty of everybody putting those topics into the channel, and then we'll talk through those from a staff perspective, and then that way, when you've heard what you want to hear, maybe you want to play tic tac toe for the rest of the meeting. That's fine. So we'll get started with EMS pillbox check in when EMS is too busy. The whole concept there is obviously to make sure that EMS is getting their role play. I would encourage you in those situations, rather than driving yourself injured to pillbox, maybe put in a 311, letting them know that you are injured. I have personally seen many a times where folks will drive 100 plus miles an hour to go to the hospital, and no one's there because EMS is kind of out and about. And if the person would have just called 311, EMS was actually just around the corner. Um, I don't I don't foresee there necessarily being a change at this point in time. If we see that EMS is lacking in participation, then that's a conversation later down the road. But I can assure you that unless anybody from staff says otherwise, EMS is fairly readily available throughout several different time zones. Of course, if no one's on, then you have the option for Nancy. There are several suggestions in the town hall chat. Please keep in mind the community meeting, while we would love to talk through every single suggestion, it's just not going to be the case. In fact, there seems to be sometimes a misconception that there's a roadmap, that G has this whiteboard in his office of how he wants to see the city. And then, sometimes the suggestions come across as maybe, oh, he must have forgot that. Things are planned to be added. And I know we say this all the time, but I really need people to understand and let it kind of soak in. The concept of providing everything the city will ever have to offer and to have that done today is not going to happen. We want the city to always have something new and refreshing. Uh, when you've been gone for a couple days and you come back, you go, "Oh wow, that's new. That's great." So with that being said, please be patient on some of these things. Please understand that just because you're not receiving a response telling you it's coming, or that it's not coming, that your suggestion was not heard or seen. Uh, the dev team does a really good job, staff team does a really good job of keeping things secret. And the reasons for that, one is the surprise element. Two is I really don't want you and your friends to just wait for that portion to be here before you guys want to come in and RP. So, uh, again, if we don't touch on something that you made a suggestion to, just keep in mind what I'm saying. There are plenty of plans for things to come around. Uh, I think that it's best for everybody if we just kind of sit back and see when those things arrive. Um, Towing was brought up. This has been resolved for now. Um, I know there's been some back and forth in the chat about towing and business proposals, all of those things. I'm going to say this: if you haven't looked in the chat, if you ask about putting in a proposal for a business, please understand there are, I think we're like 1,600 or so, 1,200, somewhere in there, people in the Discord. There's hundreds of people that play in the city in a day's time. You're probably not the only business proposal. In addition to that, please keep in mind that just because we're taking proposals doesn't mean that we're looking to make the change today. Sometimes people will approach us and let us know that they are planning on taking a break from RP, or that their characters transitioning into something else. So we're planning for those things, but we're not making a decision today, maybe not even this week. So again, keep in mind, several people there. I mean, there are several organizational tickets that are always open for changes and uh, business proposals and business ideas and so on and so forth. So this is a ever evolving thing. So please just keep that in mind. There are several topics in here regarding law enforcement, um, everything from instant tasing to shooting tires. Uh, the shooting tires thing's been addressed. That's been addressed for more than 2 or 3 weeks. So if you're still experiencing issues, um, I'm going to assume at this point it's a one-off situation, and you should be opening a ticket. Insta tasing, again, another topic that has been addressed by high command. If you are still experiencing issues, open a ticket. Do not save these types of issues for the town hall meeting. I can understand it happened 2 days ago and it upsets you. And so oh, look, town hall chat, I'm going to put it in there. If you want resolution and you want it right now, open up a player report. That's the only way we can take care of it. Bringing it up in a town hall meeting after it's already been brought up and after command's already addressed it, not really helping your particular case. So again, for everyone, when you are experiencing a player related issue, open a ticket, please. We see this all too often where things bleed into community chat, they bleed into town hall chats, and the staff team has no clue that any of these things, we don't even know what you're talking about. Okay. So if you require or want our help, please ensure that you're opening a ticket so that we can best assist you. Um, as far as responses in the suggestion categories goes, that channel was not developed for us to have banter and conversation and why your idea is good and my idea is bad, or vice versa. The channel is merely a suggestion to the server, to the dev, that hey, this might be cool. To think that the dev can also participate in a conversation with every suggestion that comes across is then suggesting that you would prefer for the dev not to continue what the dev does, which is dev code, right? Um, you can't. It's one of those situations like we can't have our cake and eat it too. The city requires a lot of attention, and I can assure you that G spends a ton of time, um, you know, going through those types of situations. I personally would love for G to sit in staff chat with us every day for hours and just have conversation. But the fact of the matter is, the guy's busy and he's concentrated, and that's just the reality of of what he does. So we all have to be understanding. in that and just respect the fact that the suggestions are seen. He does read through those, but at the end of the day, we just really can't expect that that's a conversation channel. That's more of a I'm going to drop my line or throw my bait, and if it happens, it happens, and if it doesn't, okay. In saying that, I will say if there is something that is mechanically wrong, then open a ticket and talk about it. Those are things that we can obviously fix. If it's just that, you know, you think something would be extra cool, like Kelly Price wants a glowing bowling ball, uh, or Sunny Day wants a glowing bowling ball, whichever, that's just a suggestion from that character, right? But if the bowling alley doesn't work correctly, then Kelly should put in a ticket. Again, don't wait until the town hall meeting to put it in to the topics channel. Time and fine adjustments. This is something that's been talked about from a staff perspective. This is something that we've talked to the community about. We are always receiving these flows, these ups and downs of this group feels like it's okay. This group thinks it's not okay. This group thinks they really don't care. So this is it's still an active, ongoing conversation with staff team. I can't tell you for sure today that there is a plan to make adjustments, or there is not a plan. I can tell you that it is something that is being considered, and that conversation is being maintained on the topic. One point that we want to talk about, and it kind of goes along with one of the topics, was the location of the apartments. At this time, not really a plan to adjust that location. Um, but one thing we do want to touch on are some of the actions occurring at the apartments. So please keep in mind that folks that are leaving the apartment, we're not your character is not 100% sure if that person leaving the apartment is new, if they're experienced, if is this their first day, or have they been here for 600 days? I don't know. So please refrain from any type of robbing, stabbings, shootings, etc. at the apartment. Uh, the apartment should in a way be a safe space. People really have nowhere to go when they're coming out of the apartment. They're in a funnel. They can't go anywhere. No matter how you slice it, they either have a driveway that goes one way back and one way out, or coming out of the apartments. They're there. So please ensure that you're checking your actions while you are operating in or around the area of the apartment. Guys, gals, and staff, was there anything that I missed thus far?
No, that's pretty much all.
Yeah.
So just to, I see that we did have another topic that came up here. How do we think as staff is the city going? Uh, I'll give everyone their fair shot, and staff that to speak up to speak up. I think you're going to get mixed perspectives here. I think that, and I'm always going to say this, but I think that RP can always be better. I think that there are still a lot of folks that aren't here to necessarily RP, or their RP is secondary to their grind. Um, I can, Finch, for those of you that know Finch, transitioned, and I've gotten more, the ability to have more conversation with folks. And I can tell you that I've had folks that really want to sit down and have a conversation, really RP through a scenario. And I've got some that are like, hey, just help me get this taken care of. And then there's nothing more to it. So that's where I draw my perspective from. But as far as the rest of the city, I mean, I think the city's great. I've been here for over 2 years. I wouldn't have stayed if it was something that was bad. I do think that some of the changes that have recently occurred, whether you're a fan of or not a fan of them, I think that the changing of bikes was a good play to balance some things out. And I also think that adding jumps puts some perspective and maybe counterbalances the change with the motorcycles. So that's my 2 cents. If anybody else has some to throw in there.
We've also never been 100% serious RP server. There's room for some not so serious stuff. We don't want it to be. We just don't want it to get out of control.
And with that statement, I will say, and then Vinny, I seen you light up. I'll let you go. So I just want to say this, and Jerry, thank you for bringing this up the other day when there were some difficult conversations going on in the community chat regarding the removal of the motorcycles from Heist. Please keep in mind that if you are experiencing issues, right, like someone is abusing something, or a group is abusing something, open a ticket and speak up. Just like with these jumps. Like if you are seeing people abuse the jumps, then say something. Because if we find out and we continue to get these reports and every report is like, "Oh my god, I can't believe somebody would do that," right? It ruins it for everybody. So it's just best to be, you can call it what you want. You can call it an informant, you can call it a snitch, you can call it whatever. Okay. But at the end of the day, if we don't want to lose things for the entire community, then we as staff need to be able to address those that are causing the issue so that things don't get out of hand. And I'm going to second that with, if you see something happen in the city and you're like, I can't believe they did that. Like if you have that thought, your next action should not be, I'm going to do what they just did, right? That's probably not the correct action. Your conscience is telling you that probably wasn't a good idea, so don't do it.
Well,
Right?
people literally said, "Oh, we saw this coming." Well, people know what's going on and see that it's leading towards that, but as a community, you guys should work towards not having that happen, because we don't like to sit here and have to decide what kind of rule we're going to push to try to fix an issue, because talking about it and trying to just let people fix their own problems doesn't work. So that's when we get to that point.
Yeah, and as far as the motorcycles go, I mean, this has been, and I think everybody on staff can attest, this was months of hearing the same thing over and over and seeing the same type of video over and over. And it's like, okay, when it gets to the point that the same group is hitting the same bank at approximately the same time on a daily basis and they have the same getaway, that's a problem, right? And that's kind of going along with the topic. Like if somebody knew that was happening, whether it was somebody in the group, law enforcement obviously is reporting it. But if civilians know that that's occurring because somebody's coming to you and say, "Oh my God, we just did it again," you ought to take a step back and, yeah, you might try to correct it in role play, but you might also just open a ticket and say, "Hey, I know that this group's doing this, and I don't want to see it ruined for everybody else." Vinny, what'd you have?
Well, you kind of took a lot of the words out of my mouth. What I was going to say, like the accountability of the community. Not a whole lot of people will make a ticket and say, hey, this group is doing this or these people are doing this all the time. We see it complained about in suggestions and community chat and topics and stuff like that. But like nobody ever gives us any tickets to say, hey, I think this is low effort, or hey, you might want to watch out for this person. Because as a staff, that's some things we can do. We can monitor people and see what they're doing, see how they're interacting, and just talk to the people about how the RP is. But you kind of took a lot of the words out of my mouth.
Well, you're welcome. I didn't want you to have to speak a lot. Gunny, do you have something?
For me, I think like people are putting a bunch of business proposals in, and sometimes they're not patient enough, and they're like, can I get an update? Can I get this? What about that? You know, G's doing stuff as fast as he can. He's bringing in prior businesses that were here before. Your suggestion. it wouldn't be fair for G to open up your business before somebody else's business who's been waiting, months to get their business up and running. So, be patient, check in once a month, or just wait for us to contact you to let you know that your business is ready, or, give us some ideas, for it. But, just kind of be patient with him. He's only one person doing this whole city. So,
And I know that I know there it might be a hard concept, or maybe people don't think about it, but the staff team does or has started to meet regularly, and there is movement. I'm sure that those that have opened support tickets and whatnot, um, that those are handled in a pretty quick fashion. The organizational stuff, that's not necessarily something that staff can relieve or take care of in a moment's notice. A lot of times we have to wait on things from G. And everybody has to understand too that like that business is not the only thing that he's coding. There are even updates to things that are already in the city that are being pushed. You've got things that are being added, and they have to be added piece by piece. And then we have to think about those restarts. Some of those things the server has to be restarted for. So if we don't want to go through constant restarts in the city to speed the process up on anything, which I don't think that would not be fun for anyone. I can tell you the frustration um, of having to live through that. But at any rate, just keep that in mind. Like restarts have things to do with that. So G codes something, then there's a restart for that resource, and then he's able to test it. And oh well, this didn't work the way it was supposed to, or whatnot. So it's changed again, and maybe we have to wait for the next restart before it can be checked again. So there's a lot of that that goes on as well, that I don't think a lot of folks take into account.
And one
And
thing I want to touch on too, that I want always say in every meeting, make sure you're taking everybody's RP into accountability, and not just focusing on your own. Make sure that the things that you're doing, you realize that that other person has uh, thoughts about what's going on, and be respectful in your RP all in general. That seems to get out of hand a lot, especially when criminals are dealing with cops. I see that a lot.
absolutely. I will touch on too, for those that are frustrated about, you know, times and fines and things of that sort, you need to make sure that you're aware of all of the options you have in the city. And I'm not going to share those here. That's for you to explore. But there are ways to combat certain things in the city. The fact of the matter is, some people don't want to take the time to explore those options. They just want to get done and over. Maybe they're aggravated at the situation with the cops. Maybe they're aggravated they got caught just in general. I don't know. But it's just one of those mentalities of just send me to jail, send me to jail, send me to jail. Well, if that's your mentality, then you should expect that whatever crime you committed, that you're at that point agreeing to, you get what you get. So don't throw a fit. Okay. Um, Outside of that, I don't see any other topics unless any other staff members have seen anything or think that I missed something.
Saw a comment about the housing doing financing. As everyone knows, I run that for the King's Real Estate. A little bit of why I'm not doing financing is because I already have to keep track of everyone's house that gets sold, house number, where exactly it's at, pictures of the houses. And right now, with how busy we are, I hired like 12 other realtors right now. We are so busy and backed up that it would just be way too hard right now to even start financing and then keep track of everyone's, like, you bought the house on the 30th. Okay, next 30th, I'm coming to you
Well, we would
for,
only do financing if it was scripting related,
yeah.
but I don't. Everyone gets a free apartment. So housing is just something you save up for, and you can get an apartment through the realtor. You don't have to go pick a massive house somewhere. You can get a cheap apartment if you want to have another one. But with financing, we just don't need everyone to be able to buy everything day one. If you want a bigger house, just save for it and live in the apartment until then.
All right. Well, if at this point, I guess if there's anyone that has any questions, if you want to raise your hand, we can bring you up. Please make sure that you keep your question direct. We don't want to, talk
Don't
about
drag
life
on.
experiences and whatnot. Just we want to get you through to the point, and then provide you with an answer.
Don't start with this one time, please.
And somebody from staff, if you just want
Yeah,
to
I've got
drag
the
people up,
raised
that
hands pulled
okay,
up.
cool.
Yeah. All right, we got Paul Nintendo.
Mr. Nintendo.
What's up, Paul?
There
Can
he
you hear us?
is.
Messing around. So there's one time. No, I'm just messing around. So is there any particular reason why? So it seems like some people's pilot's license transferred from 2.0 and not everybody else's. Is there any particular reason why? Because like cops are out flying, other people are out flying, but there's a bunch of us that are still waiting. And I know me and G have talked about this with him being away, but so some of us still waiting to get our pilot's licenses. Is there any particular reason why they can't transfer from 2.0 like other people's did?
You know, you
Well,
can
there's a
fly
whole
illegally,
flight
right?
school now, and I'm pushing to get that going. I don't know why it's not yet, but they should be being able to give out licenses.
I believe the
Okay.
flight school owner is currently away from city for a day or two. Just check
Well,
back in a day or two.
he's been gone for a while moving, but
oh,
I've spoken to him about getting the other employees to start doing it because there's no reason for it to not be happening yet. They got a new building and everything, so
I could probably speak to that a little bit actually. Yeah, the guy who owns the Burns is the character name. I don't know the dude out of character. Yeah, he's been out for the last like month or so. Last I had heard from him, he was supposed to be back last week.
he'll be back soon. I was talking to him just the other day.
Were you okay? Cool. I think we were just like waiting on some like final approvals and stuff from him and Joey, and I think now that Joey's now I think gone for the last, or he's going to be gone now for like 10, 12 days. I
Yeah,
think he told me
Joey's
the
on
other day.
a 14-day vacation.
Yeah, so now it's like it's just me, and I guess like I don't know what to do with the flight school by my own because I don't know what conversations like you and or
There's
G,
not
you
really
and him.
anything to it. I mean, we can talk about it outside of this, but
Right.
we should be able to get pilots licenses going very soon.
Cool. Yeah, definitely. If there's a better time for me to reach out to you or something, just let me know. So I think we got like the majority of the legwork and all that done. I think a lot of the finalizing, we just need to like finalize pricing and stuff like that to get that stuff rolling.
All good there, Paul?
Yeah, sure. Hopefully, I'm just hoping it's soon.
All right, awesome.
Perfect. Thanks, guys.
Yep.
All right, we got Mr. Sunderland.
What up, everybody?
So,
Hey, so wanted to touch on one thing, and I know some stuff you need to talk about the people in character, but it kind of got mentioned, and Finch touched on it briefly. Love you, Finch, but hate you at the same time. There is a very active DOJ. We're here for a lot of things, and a lot of people complain about, well, cops do this, cops do that, cops do this, cops do that. Half the things you guys are complaining about cops, you're complaining to the wrong damn people. Just flat out, honestly. Like, half of you are just going to the cops, bitching and crying because this and that. Like, contact a lawyer, contact the district attorney, contact a judge. There's a method for you to do things in city for a lot of the things you're complaining about. And
The DOJ being around is kind of a newer thing for a lot of people that have been used to it not being there. And I just think people need to change the meta to go towards DOJ more and high command instead of what you're saying, complaining to others, running to tickets out of city. A lot of it
Yeah,
can
and
be
I
kept in city, and the DOJ can they can do a lot.
Role play
I
it out,
think
guys.
Keaton can attest. I mean, since Finch has been an attorney, like there have been things brought up from a law enforcement perspective, and it's like, oh wow, right? I think all of us that are in attorneys or DOJs, I think all of us can say maybe we didn't realize this, right? Like there's some issues. So it's just a way in character to address that, and as things are addressed by the courts, then that drives change with high command, and it's just kind of this ever evolving thing. So be a part of the evolution in the RP instead of just bringing it to chat and complaining about it. Right? There's avenues that you have within the city at this point to help change that story. So thank you for elaborating on that, Keaton.
Yeah, I can tell you for a fact, if you could see the hour-long transcripts of me and Finch going at it in court dockets, DOJ is insanely active, and we're hiring. Please help.
Is that just for the group to handle Finch's shit, or is that?
Oh
like...
yeah, I need a special team that wants to go to law school overnight to fight Finch Holman. Please help.
No, it's been
Love you
so
guys.
fun.
All right, brother. Thanks,
Thank
man.
you.
All right, we got Smooth. What's up, Ali?
Yo, can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I am on so what I wanna base my opinion on is, so what I'm feeling, yeah, you're saying like, yeah, we got like DOJs now and stuff like that, but some of the all right, I'm just gonna further explain it like on the topics of crimes and shit like that. Like somebody said don't get caught. Somebody said like just escape. That's not the RP that y'all want. Like I've had multiple occasions where I've had some of my gang members sell specific shit on the blog and then claim that it's something. Like I've even myself had like I was selling something and I had a warrant saying that I was selling suspicious drugs or like that I was selling like something specific, and I just feel like I wouldn't say that that would be considered like powerful or anything, but that would be kind of just like pushing this like cop on top mentality, which I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Like I just feel like from what it seems like now, it's a lot of favoritism, or a lot of the stuff now. It just seems like it's more cop sided to me than what I feel like it would be.
What would you explain that would be cop sided? Because nothing's changed cop sided at all.
I would say more cop sided, as in like the rules would be more evolved, like the actual rules. Like
Are you
in
speaking
city would be
specifically on the
more
rule
evolved.
change for motorcycles?
Yeah, because
No,
the
no,
rules
I'm
for
not speaking
motorcycles.
on that. No, I'm not speaking on that. I'm just talking about in general, like um when we were having a what was going on, like, so I've been told literally directly that a crim can make a very toxic remark towards a cop, like let's say fuck 12. Like if you say fuck 12 to somebody, is that not something that happens IRL? Like yeah, a very babyish and crybaby person could consider that as like toxicity, but we're in city, so like keep that in city. Don't take it out of city. Like nobody, you're not an actual cop.
What was the
I'm not an
outcome of that
actual
situation?
criminal.
That's
What
what
does
I'm
this
asking.
have to do about rules, though?
This has to do because one could get in trouble for all this. Like this is like not just in city, but like out of city. Like one could get in trouble for
All right,
this.
so I'll talk on this real quick if you don't mind, because I think I know what you're talking about. Comments in city are a direct reflection of yourself. If you say something that can be perceived as toxic, and it's a continual issue, right? If it's a regularity for you, that can become an out of character issue. If you say fuck 12, you make these funny jokes about PD, or a cop says something about you being a nasty scum criminal. If it's a one-off, cool. If you run around and you say, you know what, Maybe a female character. Damn girl, you got some tight ass jeans on. Unacceptable. You know what I mean? Make
Yeah, I
sure that the
understand
comments
that.
that you are making, both in character and out of character, are being reciprocated on both sides of it before you make the comment.
Yeah, and I get that part, and also that slick remark that was made there at the end. That's I've had somebody complain on that on one of my members, and obviously that's not acceptable. Like sexualizing something or like making it like inappropriate. Like that's if it's like at that point, I would feel like if somebody feels uncomfortable with anything, I would like obviously need to be like brought up and stuff like that, because that's unacceptable. But as in saying like let's just say like me making pig noises or me going around because I'm not gonna hold these cops' hands. Crims are not gonna hold these cops' hands and try to be friends with them. That should never be like
Okay, and
Yeah,
that's
a
there's
understandable. But
thing.
in
a
character,
line
if
to
if you
draw.
say if you say in character, fuck 12 or all these bad comments to cops, don't expect them to cut you any favors as well. It's a
Well,
two-way
that
road.
and it's one thing to like say it a couple times, but then when you get caught and you say it 20 times over the next 5 minutes of being with them and you're just not being compliant at all, it gets old and that's when it turns toxic.
Yeah, I was just
Okay.
gonna say that's when is like you're overdoing it and you're just not making the scene fun anymore after that point.
And then the same people turn around and say, "Oh, time and fines is too much." Well, when you're treating a cop like that, why are they going to drop anything?
Well, yeah, I mean you could also say that, but then like obviously when I'm speaking about if I'm speaking about me in general, like I'm not just gonna go around. I'm not gonna like go and cop bait and just like do this specific thing to get their attention, because obviously that ain't like that's just not what the motto is. Now my motto would be more so just being a obnoxious and a very annoying type of person, and to get a when I say I'm not friends with some cops, but I treat some better than others because of how they treated me in the past, and to say that in character toxicity would be considered the same thing as like out of city toxicity, it's like one thing, because that's not like I I just
It's to a degree, Smooth. It's give and take, and it's to a degree. If you're a continual habitual offender on the topic, then it could be perceived as an out of character issue that we'll talk about. Now, again, I circle back to what I said before. Comments in character are acceptable. You can dislike somebody and make that known vocally and verbally, but obviously we have limitations, and it's all in good taste. Don't make it some consistent constant thing in a 20-minute conversation.
Yeah, the only time it moves OOC into a ticket is when it gets out of control. We never have anyone just come and say, "Oh, this criminal said fuck 12." No,
And,
it's
and I'll be
this
honest,
criminal has gone on and on and on and just is not stopping, and it's no fun for anyone. And it's
in the last
toxic.
month, I think I can only vouch and rather verify that we've probably had 2, maybe 3 tickets that have come in out of character with people that have had concerns with comments that were made in city. So it seems like the community is either one, dealing with it with thick skin, or two, the comments are not as bad as it seems, right?
Mhm.
Remember too, you saying it to a cop, he heard it 50 other times from 7 other people. You're not the first encounter with the same mentality, right? So it gets
but
tiring for them at some point.
And you can
but
do it.
yeah,
Just
but you don't
don't
gotta
keep it going over and over and
yeah,
over
but
and
don't
over.
snap on the last person who said it. You might as well snap on every single every single
You
person
can
that said
choose,
it to
but
you.
Technically, just because we bring it up to somebody doesn't mean that we didn't discuss it with somebody else.
in character, they could snap on whoever they wanted.
But
Maybe that's the
yeah,
50th time they've heard it, and that's their breaking point for the day. That's how it would be in real life. Everyone
yeah,
And,
just
and I will
and
say
then
there is a specific group of vehicles that I've identified that constantly roll around city, and anytime they pass a police cruiser or a police officer, might make some pig noises. I personally do not care. I ignore it. Why? Because I think it's childish. But some officers might take slight offense to that, or might otherwise punish you for that if they do find you to be breaking the law. So I mean, it's give and take, man. If you're doing, and I'm not saying this to you, I'm saying this to everybody. If you're treating anyone in the city disrespectfully, and they retaliate against you in an RP scenario, then you full on earn that, and you need to just take it on the chin and move forward.
Yeah, I guess that's true. And kind of like to touch up on the last part of it, when they said like if you treat a cop by saying, like if you treat a cop disrespectful and then you expect to get like, lower time or lower fine or whatever, like that's not even the case because I feel like in a majority standpoint, if I'm speaking on my character, I've, maybe some of my members that I've already made it aware of, they might be like more on the toxic side, but my character itself feeling that I'm selling meth on the block. Oh, here we go. A cop pulls up. Yeah, I already used up this excuse. What excuse can I use up now? No, let me escape. Let me run. Oh, I get caught. Bam, you get like 80 months or like 80 months and you get a fat $13K fine for selling.
Well, to circle back
5
to what you
meth
said
that you made
earlier,
money.
is you said that you've developed your character to be this outspoken individual that makes less than desirable comments to other people, whether it's cops or anybody else. So on that topic, if the officer or the individual you're speaking to, you've already made comments to multiple times, you may not remember them, but they may remember you. You're one person, while you're making those comments to 50 people,
This
right?
also sounds like a more of a personal thing that we could continue in a voice chat or
So,
a ticket after the meeting.
did you have any
No,
other
no,
concerns?
One thing about
no,
this
no,
topic,
no, I
just real
wouldn't.
quick. So think about it from this: at any point in any group, not cops, crims, not anything, you talk shit to a gang, you talk shit to anybody, you're a target, and that person is going to treat you with the same disrespect they got. Because I know if I run on your block and I talk shit, you guys are gonna come after me too. So it's just give and take, and that's the way it rolls, man. It's RP.
Yeah, and I think I made another topic on that. I was saying like in city stuff should be kind of kept like in city. And that was you kind of like you touched up on that. Like if you disrespect somebody in city like that, like you make like a slay remark like that. Obviously they're gonna come back for you in city, but I don't think it should be taken, out of
Well,
city.
it's not,
Like
but that's just
Yeah, I think
that's
Lou
just
said the
people,
same
and they
thing.
need
Yeah,
to
that
keep that.
it hasn't.
Yeah,
Hey.
it is a very rare occurrence that we're getting any reports of individuals or pulling people into tickets from staff members that are spectating somebody. I think it's been maybe 2, possibly 3 instances in the last month that we've had to deal with comments that have been made that haven't been part of the community guidelines, or within the community guidelines, rather.
Yeah, I get you, but this doesn't have to be taken to another VC. I mean, I feel like it's already
You're
pretty
good. I mean, like I said, if
self-explanatory.
anybody that has concerns, always submit a ticket. They can be brought up into town hall, but obviously we don't hold everybody up with the other topics that we have. If you wanted to discuss it further, we can, and we're here to talk to you. That's why we volunteered to be staff members. Just open a ticket, we'll discuss it.
I'm like, yeah, sounds good. Well, shit, you have a good day, and Blood's on top.
All right, we got one more guy here, Tommy Johnson.
How's it going, Tommy?
So this one may be one that can be dealt in city with DOJ. I'm not 100% positive. So the actual SOPs for cops for use of force. Some of the objects that officers have are very strong against some of the strategies we use for the lower end jobs, especially. So it kind of hurts us sometimes when we see, Moto 1 and Air 1 come out for something basic like a store robbery or something like that. So I'm wondering if that's something we're allowed to find in DOJ, or
Well,
if that
correct
is
me if I'm
something.
wrong, but like when those things come out, isn't it after? It doesn't matter what the original crime was. It's like what it escalated into during the chase. Is Air One coming out previously like switching to a bike, or is Moto 1 coming out after you've switched into a supercar or shots fired or anything like that?
No. So we've had situations like, I mean, Vangees, I could understand, Moto 1 on Vangees because it is a little bit higher end there, especially currently with the status of jobs. But I've seen situations where Air 1 has landed on a building waiting for Vangees to go, and Moto 1 is on site right at the beginning.
How long ago are you talking about? Just curious.
I would say within the last 2 weeks.
stuff's changing all the time. We are improving on that, and with the city making the rule on the bikes, we're backing off Moto 1 response. We may parallel a chase, but it probably won't be directly attached in case of a switch to something else.
That's more than what I could ask for. That's amazing.
I mean, believe it, because Farkle's usually the one on the bike.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah,
also say
it-
that we're not responding necessarily to what you have, because it's proven that we're keeping options open for the eventuality, because 99% of the time the first car is not the last car.
It's true, yeah, and so we are
I get your frustration for sure, and I want to
Well,
validate
yeah.
that we understand that, and as staff members and high command members, we're looking at balance all the time. We're adjusting our SOPs. We're trying to make a catch rate be more, not make it one-sided.
Yeah.
Officers can't always be the ones to lose. We're going to lose more than we win. And that's the goal from our standpoint as staff members and high command, is make sure that, yeah, we catch people, but in our meeting previously, I don't care as high command if you catch someone, as long as you're having fun and other people are having fun. I don't care.
Hey, I've got to run into a store, but can I say something just real quick on this topic? You asked about getting hands on our SOPs. We're not going to do that. And if you really think about it, in real world scenario, PD is going to throw everything they have at you. We do restrict our unit response and everything down, but we're not just going to hand out our SOPs to everybody, because that would be meta information. No cop in the world would ever just hand to cram their SOPs.
I fully understand. That's why I was like, this may be something in city, may not be, but I definitely appreciate that, because I mean, recently, especially with the bike update, we've been pushing ourselves to, if we're going to do a slop, it's going to be a local, not going straight supercar, not escalating it ourselves. And we wanted to see that from your guys' side too, which means we are seeing it from your side.
Yeah, the PD's already discussed vehicle usage and things of that sort on our side versus what the criminal has brought to the scene. Yeah, just if you have an issue or you see an issue where you think it may be a vehicle may be being used in a situation that you don't think it should be in, you could always open a Leo ticket. But yeah, it's been discussed, and I think that what we've come up with in the police department is going to be a good change for everybody.
Perfect.
And also, on like, if your rights are violated, or we broke a policy where we shot you when we shouldn't have, and you have a lawyer, your lawyer will get our SOPs for that part. Okay, just wanted to clarify that.
Okay.
And as the server is growing, the PD is working along with the changes of the server as well. So like to make people enjoy themselves just as much as they can enjoy themselves,
Perfect.
Answer your question?
Yep.
All right, brother. You have a good day.
And for like they said, if they break an SOP, it's not really. It all depends on if they have more motor units in a chase. That's not going to be a DOJ thing. That's just going to be a PD handling issue. But like if you get shot, unarmed or something, then that'd be a DOJ thing.
All right. We got Robbie Johnson.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
What's up, Robbie?
What's up, bud?
Hey, so I've kind of noticed something when going to jail, I guess you could say. The RP in the jail system is kind of lacking. Kind of makes it not very fun for other people. Like I've shown up there, got maybe like 100 and some hours or whatever, or months, and I kind of want to interact with people, but I find like 5-6 people stand by the phones AFKing a lot. Is there any way we can kind of combat against that? Or also, I'll see a lot of police, like active police, but no DOC. So there's literally nobody to interact with for that whole time.
Do we have Indigo currently on the stand here? Is she up?
No.
No? All right. Well, I'll speak loosely on it because I'm not all the way informed. Oh, there she is.
Hello? Yeah.
Yeah, you speak on that for us?
Hello.
Okay. Give me a recap on what you want me to talk about. Sorry.
DOC.
The DOC? Okay. So I have been working with the warden on DOC a little bit. Basically, they need active people that want to do it. The DOC, when I first implemented it, it was meant to be a like really big RP position. There's stuff like it's all set out, like the basics are there.
Right. Yeah, I
Like
seen it. I seen DOC there once. I went to jail. I was like, oh, this shit is awesome. They actually got some correction officers. There was a couple of people, RP in, we'll shoot the shit. You might get in a fight with an officer. But then, like, I went a few other times, and literally that was the first time I seen that was the only time I seen it. There was no DOC. Everybody was standing by the phones. They weren't trying to, like, interact with nobody. There's pool tables. There's the rec yard. I mean, there's a lot of shit we could have been doing and scenes we could be creating. I mean, we got gangs on the street. There's people in jail doing hella time. Why aren't we running the gangs from inside the jail like we would in real life? You know what I mean? Why not have like a scene of some sort?
It just comes down to the community and people wanting to do DOC. It's kind of like DOJ. Like everyone doesn't want to do DOJ, but when we get that group that wants to do it, it's active. But we can't force anyone to be DOC. We don't force anyone to do stuff they don't like in RP, like RP business wise. So
yeah, but like I get that, but in a sense, like if there's a ton of cops on duty and you've made like X amount of arrests and they're doing X amount of time, couldn't
cops
you
and
like
DOC are completely different jobs.
Yeah, they're separate entities. The way I set it up, because I did all the groundwork. It's just getting people that want to do it and have meaningful RP. I don't have the time in my current position to do both. I've tried. It's just a lot of work. But if it's totally welcome, people can apply. The applications are always open. It's just getting a group of people together because I think the DOC can provide a lot of RP to the city, and I think so can the people that are in prison.
And I agree with that. And that's
Robbie, you
kind
sound
of what I wanted.
passionate about this, so
Yeah,
feel free to step up.
Yeah, but the issue is
it was a joke. I promise it was a joke.
Well, no, I thought about it. I really have, but the only issue is like I work second shift now, and it's like 3 p.m. to midnight, sometimes 3 in the morning, and I don't know. I can't really dedicate myself like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or I would definitely wanted to try to get into something like that because I see a lot of potential in the jail system, especially when I did see you guys implemented DOCs, and I was like, oh shit, okay, we can make something of this, and then all of a
DOC
sudden, like,
can be a part-time job. Is like an hour or two a day is better than none at all.
Yeah, but see, I don't even know if I could like. Yesterday was my day off, and I wanted to get in, but also damn tired. I just slept all damn day. You know what I mean? Like
generally, the community that don't think that DOC is like a job that you have to do 24/7. It could, you could do it for 2 hours a day. You see a whole bunch of people in jail, you could switch over to your DOC character. It's not something that has to be like a full-time main priority.
And I think that's where DOC has kind of had its issue in the past where people, like, they created a character just for DOC, and that's all they did was stand up at the jail, and then they get bored, and it's like, it doesn't have to be a thing. Go play DOC, go hang out with friends, go fishing, do whatever don't do crime, but but yeah, I mean, even if you got trained and it was only in an hour a day, or maybe it's only a handful of hours a week, like G said, that's a start and a step in the right direction.
Yeah, it's a vicious cycle.
And
a
I
lot
also
of
think that
downtime.
I also think that would battle some of the issues a lot of people are having with the time and crime type shit. If there was like more effort into it, like from the community inside the jail, I think they wouldn't have that as much of an issue. You know what I mean?
We would love the community.
It would suck,
help out.
doing 100 months. You're sitting in there for over an hour and a half just chilling. Like, I get where that would suck, but if you were like having to worry about and lock down like a part of the courtyard, and you can't let this person, that would be more incentive.
That falls on the community too. If you got 10 people standing by the phones and you're the only person walking around talking, trying to do things, then as a community, we need to try to be better, right?
Yeah, and that sucked. Like I did literally 110 minutes in that shit, and there was 5 people in there. I'm like, oh, cool, I seen them, and I'm like, hey, how's it going? And they're just sitting there for that whole time, the whole time. And I'm like,
And
really?
things are always timed out and thinking of different ways to make stuff happen.
Right.
Right.
We appreciate you.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
thank
no,
you
I
for that.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you.
We got one more, Sal. There's Sal.
Guys, for the
How you doing, Sal?
good. Apologies for the bad audio quality in the truck right now, just driving around. But there's one thing that got me thinking I didn't raise in the topics, and I apologize for that. Can't type right now, but I'm curious. Maybe ICOC, why the police have everybody's DNA on file the moment they fly into the city. I feel like that's something that should be gotten on their first offense or something. That maybe when somebody gets swabbed, because I had a friend that joined the city, literally dropped some blood. Police ended up calling him like 30 minutes later. Hey, we found your blood at the scene. And he's never committed a crime or anything. He's fresh in the city.
I mean, when you're born at a hospital.
Yeah, I get that.
I mean, you fly into town, you have medical records and stuff. That's just a thing that's going to happen.
It's a mechanic thing. I mean, like
Yeah,
it's
it's more
just not built
mechanic.
into the city right now. I mean, ideally, I get what you're saying, but it's one of the things we have to deal with.
Okay.
Just with
Yeah.
the MDT and all the scripts tie into each other. I mean, I'm sure G could speak more on that specifically, but
It's just evidence. When you get hurt, you drop blood, and the blood has your name. But it's hard to. It's very. It would have to check every single time that you drop blood that your DNA hasn't been checked yet, which would be very difficult.
On that topic, I don't think we've ever
there's
had
more
any issues
to
with it either.
That has to happen, though. I believe, like, you can't just find someone's blood and call them up.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's
People
literally
call
what
up
happened.
and ask questions. They'll ask questions, but they're not going to charge you with that. I mean,
I beg to differ on that, but that's only because
that's
have.
for the DOJ to handle.
Exactly.
And then that gets the court RP. So
Exactly. Yeah. So that's a situation where you definitely want to seek out in character some additional
sometimes
resources.
you're gonna get fucked over in RP, bro. And
Like another way is they find the blood, they do some DNA tests, and they called overstate somewhere and got a match. I would hope that's how they would RP it out. But
And I mean, ultimately, it's conducive to RP, right? If we just constantly are fighting blood that's out there and it just never comes back to anybody, it just that would slow it down. I feel. I think it's conducive. I think it's a good system. I don't see or have even ever heard of somebody trying to power game that system into forcing somebody. I think the larger issues we see are like clothing and like physical attributes identification would probably be one that's a bit harder to manage.
I think we've just always, because the way the mechanics work, the RP behind it was just that when you came to Los Santos, they took that blood sample from you. It was just part of moving to the island. Because there wasn't really a mechanic to get around it.
Now, that situation with your friend, was it just like, I mean, obviously you said he didn't do any crime. From an officer's perspective, like, generally I'm not going to go run blood and put a warrant out on somebody because there was blood on scene of a shots fired call with no other really indication of a crime that's been committed. Some people may do that, but I'm not going to put a warrant out for you because I have no evidence that could say otherwise that you were the perpetrator or the person that shot somebody. You know what I mean? They may have just been calling that individual to get information, which is again conducive to role play.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate that. I don't necessarily think that there's much wrong with it. I just I was curious on somebody relatively new in the city. They may have been bleeding from certain things that they shouldn't be doing. Nothing illegal, just a bunch of horsing around, unfortunately. But they were contacted, and the cop was obviously just doing a wellness check over the phone. But it just threw me off how the cop advised my friend that no matter when whoever flies in has DNA on file, right? Um, one of my biggest thoughts around this was, let's say you run an MC or a gang, right? You have people that are fresh in the city and they want to prove themselves. Their DNA isn't on file necessarily, or they have a clean record. Well, we found out, I see that everybody's DNA is on file, so you can't, you're responsible for your own DNA cleanup. But there, and I'm not here to say anything negative about this situation. Overall, I love the city. Staff does a great job, but I thought it may have been like a checkbox in the MDT, like somebody was swabbed for DNA when they got arrested, and now we have their DNA on file. And it's not like that. You guys just automatically have it. But yeah, and it was just more of a question, something I wanted to bring up, and I think you guys helped answer it.
Awesome. Any other questions?
Thank you.
No, I got nothing else. Thank you guys. Great job.
I appreciate your time.
Have a good one, bud.
Does anybody else have any other questions regarding the topics we discussed today?
Or any other topics?
Any concerns, issues you're having? All right, back to Sunderland. What's up, Kane?
Yo, what up? Nice to see you again. So, I just thought about this and I'd forgotten about it, or I would have posted it. It's been asked a couple times, like just people bringing things up that they don't fully understand in city, and I've heard it before. Is there like any real kind of explanation you guys can kind of give us for? Sometimes it seems like there's certain groups or people who gain access to things or have the ability to do things over others that it almost doesn't make sense that it can happen.
Like what?
So kind of like how with the GFC fights, how all the bets were paid off really fast and everything. Like some people just didn't see how that money was possible to be made at that event. And I mean, I don't know if it's just in character. We don't know. We're not going to find out. Or if there was a reason for that because it was a specific server event or things like that.
What do you mean? That comes out.
I can go on this. I basically helped made GFC. It's literally all spreadsheets. It's all spreadsheet. Well, when it started, we're on what, GFC 11 or 12 now. It's been a server thing for over a year, and it just started on spreadsheets that we made, and we had a betting.
But all the money, that's all from ticket sales, right?
Yeah, so
there's no other money that's put into it unless
it's all
I
ticket
take my
sales
own
and
money
bets.
and invest and put into it.
Oh yeah, like paying EMS and stuff, but basically all it is we have the ticket sales on one spreadsheet, and we have betting on another spreadsheet.
I mean, if what you're asking, staff has never put any money into GFC at all.
Oh,
Or,
it's
like,
not. Yeah, no, it's not
development
like
has
funded government wise.
Yeah, like that's all comes out of my account.
Yeah, like case in point,
mean, it's a
I bet
profit
against
business.
Gamble in his fight.
It's a profit business. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It's not it makes profit.
Oh yeah, no. I was
Like,
just
it's
one
no-
thing that I'd heard about that I don't think I voiced it correct, but you guys I think answered what I was bringing up. And then the other side of that sort of ties in with like kind of the people complaining about money that I've heard brought up a lot. And I was wondering if you guys could kind of say if there's any plans to deal with it, is the way people are treating the invoice system currently. Because like people are going out, you buy a $500,000 car, and then you go and get $200,000 worth of upgrades put on it, and you never pay that, and it feels like there's
but
no
it pays it
punishment for that.
off.
Yeah.
It pays, you just have to wait longer. But the thing with that is that's up to the business. No one is forcing anyone to use the invoice system. They could take cash or, other forms of it, but no one is forced to use the invoice system. That's just their option. And if you set it to pay 3 days, that leaves 6 days, and they pay 10% more. So the business actually makes more money in the end. When people don't, you just have to wait a little bit longer.
I guess kind of the other question with that, is there a way for like if a business knows like certain people repetitively do that, for them to increase the percentage of how much it taxes them?
That's just set, but Yeah, I mean, if they know there's an abuser, don't let them do the service unless they pay the invoice right then and there. Like they can do the invoice system and not give them the services until they pay for it.
Makes sense. I think I'm good.
Or just
Basically,
flat
that's
charge
all
them
like
more.
role playing things out how it should be for whatever business, if that's what needs to be.
Somebody
Yeah, and you
keeps
can report
screwing
to
your
the police
business
as well.
over. Yeah, somebody keeps screwing your business over. Take the police, or come
Like
see.
we
Finch.
have detectives for a reason.
Well, I mean, in the end, no one is getting screwed over. It actually helps businesses. They make
Yeah,
more
no,
money.
you're right.
It's just delayed money.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying
So-
that if you find people are habitual offenders to this, we've already had cases revolving around that instance.
No, I know, but the question kind of sounds like businesses are getting screwed out of money. They're just having to wait for the money because they're choosing to use the invoice system. But if people are just avoiding paying it 6 to 10 days later, whatever you choose that amount of time to pay, you're getting 10% more than you would have to start with.
Yeah, I guess my real question on it was, it just, to a degree, sometimes it almost feels like it's some people are abusing the game mechanic of it because they don't care about the money.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have people going massive debt. That may be an issue, but again, that becomes back to what I'm saying. We can handle that in character. We have officers for that.
Well, so we've combated that a little bit by the paychecks have to go to your bank. So if you're doing work outside of your normal criminal stuff, anything goes to your bank to try to combat people just letting their bank accounts go negative.
Sounds good. I'll bounce out again. Love you guys.
Oh, brother.
Just to touch back on the GFC thing, like King's Real Estate, myself, we all donated like 50K each towards it last fight. So,
all right,
I mean,
Tony,
they're sponsors.
How you doing,
What's up,
guys?
Tony?
Quick question. We've been I work at Burger Shot, and we've been trying to get hunting licenses for about a week now.
Oh, okay. So I'll start by saying this is definitely an in-character issue. If you go to the PD and you ring the bell at the door, they can get you in contact with the rangers.
Yeah,
They get
we've
you
been
tested, all
trying.
those
There's like
things.
our whole staff has been trying all week, and there's never anyone available.
I mean, we're trying to
What
bolster the
hours?
ranks. I don't know what he's on though.
I'm
What hours?
Eastern. I mean, we have people all different times, but I know
Okay,
personally
'cause I
me and
haven't
two
heard
other
anything.
guys. Okay. Maybe I'm just
So we'll
reaching out to
definitely
the wrong
work on it.
people. Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, we only have one park ranger, but we're trying
we're
to
getting
get
more.
more.
We are
All
getting
right,
more.
awesome.
But
All right.
yeah, definitely ring the bell, and we'll do our best to get you some answers in character. Okay. Thank
All
you
right, awesome.
for
I
the
appreciate
concern,
it.
though.
Actually, we have
Absolutely.
our park ranger right here that can talk on that.
Oh, perfect. Judy.
Hello. How you
Up, Judy?
doing?
Just real
So
quick.
yeah, if you guys don't know, I am Delmont Judy. I am the only park ranger, and as you know, park rangers are the only ones to issue licenses. We are working really hard. We even lowered the rank you need to be a park ranger. I'm trying to do the best I can as well. I don't want to put too much time because that's just not fair to myself of putting in the time. But I'm trying each time when I'm on duty. I'll say, "Hey, come on by, do the best you can." But please, I'm telling you, it is hard. But we are trying our best to get rangers. I am the only ranger, and I know that does suck. I'm really trying to get more people, and we are. I don't know. So saying that, I'm sorry. We're doing our best as the Rangers, trying to get more people interested. I don't know. So saying that, but thank you for cooperating.
Yeah, no, we totally
giving us
understand. It
some
was
time.
just a question.
Oh no, yeah, 100%. And it sucks for me as well because I'm like, hey, let's try to get some more people and Rangers, and I'm trying to make it more interesting, and it kind of sucks, but I am doing the best. You can also, I would try to get people. You can email me or DM me if you want to. I want to try setting up some times where I can fly in, even if it's not necessarily my time when I do.
Yeah.
Get more people, get a nice class, get those people in, and continue it that way. It's kind of hard telling people, hey, just do that. But I mean, if you're in the meeting now, you hear me, you need a hunting license, email me in that, kind of format, and I can email you back, try to get to a class where we can set during your time. I can usually work with that.
All right, cool. Sounds good.
Yep.
All right, all good, guys.
Yep.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.
All right, we got Luna here. What's up, Luna?
Yeah, I had some more things with the invoices. So I work with Hayes and we do a lot of invoicing, and unfortunately at the time, I know that we have the choice to use the invoice system or cash, but it is kind of inconvenient. But I was wondering if there would be a way to make it more like real life, to where if they don't pay the invoices for their vehicles, if we could somehow work with the tow company to repo their vehicle until it's
Well,
paid
that's
or
the
something
thing.
along the lines of that.
It's never not paid. It would only be 10 days and it's paid off.
Okay, I mean, is 3 days the lowest parameter that we can use?
Yeah. 3, and then it's 3 days after that, so it'd be a total of 6 is the lowest that it gives people to pay.
Okay, because I mean, it does suck because it is kind of unfortunate while we're waiting for all those invoices. We do have a hard time being able to give our employees a little bit more.
Well, you don't have to give them the services until it's paid if you want payment up front.
Yeah.
Send them the bill and have them pay it and then do the services. I mean, ultimately, it's the businesses letting people abuse the invoice system.
Okay, so
Is there any
as
direct
far as
relation?
far as far as
Go
the
ahead, Luna.
invoice system with the company itself, we wouldn't have any ramifications as far as not providing services, correct?
If if you want payment from them right away and they don't have the money, then no.
Okay.
Nothing from a mechanic shop besides repairing your car, which isn't like tens of thousands of dollars,
Yeah.
isn't necessary. But yeah, in no way is anyone required to do any services like that.
Okay.
Good to go.
I would prefer people to turn people away when they don't have the money for $500,000 of upgrades on their supercar. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, that's all your
All right.
questions. We'll move to the next one. Good day.
Oh.
What's up, Sal?
Hey, sorry, I'm back. So this one I'm asking on behalf of somebody else because they're currently in a position that they can't speak. Security cameras. Somebody saying that they have security cameras on their property or location. And that being called out as a way of remembering being ocean dumped, quote unquote.
No, that's not allowed. We just spoke
Is that
about
too power gamey?
Yeah.
That's not allowed. 100%.
That's just not allowed. The thing is, like, when you go and do something like the cameras don't work for itself. So you can't be doing that. And when you're ocean dumped, you should just go abide by the rules that you're ocean dumped. And you can't remember.
People have to keep in mind, like, if you are RPing that you have video or whatnot, then you should have some type of a prop to be able to show that. Like, for instance, the police, if you look in a police car, there's literally a dash camera. Cops
On their
have
bodies.
cops have body cameras on their bodies. It's not, oh, I was streaming, so I've got this, and I'm just going to use this because I've got security cameras. Like, that's not allowed.
Any other questions?
Nope. Hopefully that answers the other person's question that couldn't talk. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, boss. All right. It is empty now. Anybody else? Last minute questions. Any topics? Any concern? Riley Hollis.
Hello, how's everybody going?
How you doing?
Hey, so I brought it up in the town hall topics, and there was a little bit of dissent between like a couple different members, and G had responded saying that you guys might talk about it, but the possibility of making the apartments like an actual green zone, not something somebody could run to for safety, but like he was saying, if somebody comes out of their apartment maybe it's their first day and like they're just trying to figure out their way. They shouldn't be kidnapped. Is that something that we'd be discussing today, or is that something that you guys are going to discuss internally?
So it was brought up earlier that that is an issue, and with people that are freshly new in the city, and I'm seeing it a lot in the last month for sure, it's unfair. So
it's not even new people.
It's anybody.
It's being able to be trapped in a location where you don't have another out. There's no back door out of the apartments or anything. People know, oh, they have to come out right here, so I'm just going to take them. It's under the same stuff as the businesses and stuff like that. So
it's low effort fell RP is what it is.
So
as far as making the apartments a green zone, that is a further topic of discussion between staff. We have
and
not
the
had green
zone
zones.
isn't a place you can run to be safe.
Yeah, like you can't start shit and then run to the green zone and haha, you can't touch me. That's not
Even
how it
when
works.
we had green zones, that's not how it worked. So
Okay, yeah, that was mostly it. It was just sort of like, I guess establishing that, anybody who's here should know. It sounds like you guys want people to make a ticket, like if you are grabbed from the apartment, just because that is low effort RP.
Absolutely.
As opposed to, just like making it like a server wide rule, like, hey, don't do this.
Because there is a lot of us, but we don't have eyes everywhere. So if the tickets aren't put in, we ain't gonna get notified on what's going on. And if it's a continuous issue, we won't know unless people open up.
Okay, cool. That's all I had. Thank you.
And it's more common sense stuff.
All right, looks like that was our last question. Again, just want to thank everybody for their time today, and hope everybody who has voiced opinion in the past about the meeting being a little drug out a little too long. I hope this was a bit better. So we want to afford you the opportunity to have the rest of your afternoon or evening back, and look forward to speaking to all of you again here in just a couple of weeks.
Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
I'm gonna play us out, G.